Hey guys, so I guess here we go. Here's my elevator pitch. So what I've been doing, or what I've been researching, is how part-time jobs affect students, college students specifically. And what I was looking at is I wanted to know pretty much the positive and the negative impacts of jobs and part-time jobs and how they affect college students. And what I kind of narrowed it down to is I narrowed it down to freshmen and sophomore students just because, they just came out of high school and they have a lot more independence. And it's kind of something to look at because when you have a lot of independence, you don't have people like forcing you to do stuff at specific times. You have independence to study, to do other stuff, to hang out with friends, to work. So, pretty much background here, college students, with debt rising or with college tuition rising, a lot more students are taking on loans and they're taking on a lot more debt, student debt. It's been a big major issue in this election. So what I was looking at and what interests me is how students are kind of like picking up part-time jobs, and ever since like back in like far back, students have been getting more and more part-time jobs when they're in college. And I kind of wanted to see the correlation. Why? Are they trying to pay off debt? Are they putting it to something towards something else? Are they kind of like spending it on non-essentials? Like, oh, I want to buy a new shirt, something like that. So I kind of looked at that. Okay, so my popular research, my primary research. Pretty much what I'm doing is I did a survey. I'm doing surveys with freshmen and sophomore students, so that's kind of my controls. I want to make sure that I have those as my students that have part-time jobs. And then to eliminate the factors of like finding juniors and seniors, I did it in my freshman gen ed classes. So my Chem 144, my Chem 147 lab, my Bio 111 class, just because those are like really freshman oriented gen ed classes. So I was able to find a lot of people that could take the survey for me. That's where I asked. Sample size, I just started handing out surveys. I have about, I think, 12 now. I want to get up to like about 30, 40, 45 surveys. That'd be great. It would give me a good sample size. It's 10 questions, and it pretty much asks students, like how many hours are you working a day? Are you working on or off campus? Stuff like that. Also, it asks stuff like, do you feel like your job has increased your stress levels during during the semester? Do you think college has negatively impacted your GPA? Do you agree or disagree with that statement? Just some stuff so I can see where students are like, yeah, I do see the correlations. Like there are negative effects, and that's pretty much what I'm focusing on. I want to focus on like when do the negative effects of a part-time job for a student outweigh the positive. Clearly, there's some positive effects of, college students. They can help pay off loans. They have money to spend. They have money to go out, do something, reduce the loans and reduce the amount of debt that they're taking out during college. But some negative effects. I think it's pretty clear when you work a lot, or when you're working in general, it can cause some stress because you got some time constraints. I've also negative effects as in like academic achievement. That's something that I focused on a lot. Also, just like stress levels in general, time constraint, do they have to cut things out, stuff like that. And that's what I kind of focused on. And what the research has shown, a lot of my scholarly research has shown is that there's pretty much like a threshold. Think it's after like 8 hours or around 10 hours. Most people say that after 10 hours, your academic achievement is more affected. You lose less time. You're spending more time on work than you are schoolwork, stuff like that. And then below 8 hours, it can actually be positive. It teaches you responsibilities, the fact that you actually kind of have to stay organized. When you have a part-time job and you're only working like under 10 hours, you have to say, okay, today I'm going to work on homework, tomorrow's work, day after that, I'm doing homework. So there's, what we've noticed is that there's kind of like a threshold, primary research says, like below 8 hours is good, after that's kind of bad. My intended audience is college counselors, first-year advising center counselors, and second-year advising counselors, just because of the fact that, these are the people that are talking to students one-on-one. They're helping format schedules when they have questions, and I think it's important because when you're looking at the freshmen, you can talk to them and be like, okay, I realize, like, do you have a part-time job? Do you want to schedule that in? You got to kind of take that into account, how many hours you plan on working before, you schedule, before you take on 16, 17, like 18 credits. It's insane. And I think that's where I can make the most impact, because then counselors can advise freshmen and sophomores and be like, hey, maybe you should take a step back, realize how much this work is going to be, stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And then, so I'm focusing this my survey, focusing my survey at OU, just because they've applied it. A lot of my research has applied it to France, Germany, America. I focused on debt in America, and I realized that I wanted to apply it to Oakland University and see if it's still applying. Just because the fact that we kind of have a different university feel, because most of us are commuters, so we're living at home. It's a little bit different atmosphere, and I want to see if the threshold still applies to Oakland University. And some problems that I've run some problems that I've ran into today is just the fact that it was hard finding research for me, just because don't get me wrong, there's a ton of research on the topic. It's just there hasn't been a lot of stuff produced. Like, everything was kind of produced in like 2013, so it's hard finding the stuff that like I could apply right away. I had to search a little bit deeper to find it. And then also I'd have to say, handing out surveys, it's a little bit harder, even though it's still in my freshman classes. It's a little bit harder, like finding the stuff, doing it, and like getting people to actually take my surveys that qualify, that aren't like excluded from my survey. And that's about it. I think it's going to be a good paper. It just, got to take the time on it, got to focus on it, got to block out time to where I'm writing this paper, putting it all together. That's about it. All right, well, thanks for listening, guys, whoever's listening. Have a great day. All right, sorry about that. You probably thought it was over. I did too. I just forgot to mention my counter argument. So actually, it's one of my popular sources, and what they're saying is the fact that actually working 15 hours or more can be beneficial. Like 15, 20 hours, there's not a problem with that. One of my articles stated, like, that's okay. It's actually beneficial. And that's where my counter argument comes in, is there's some discrepancy. And that's my counter argument. All right, guys, have a good one.